So let's get started. Hello and welcome to Access to Capital. My name is Ute Westphal and I will be moderating the session here today. I am very glad to be here with all of you, so thanks for coming in. Every time you come in, it gives me a little ding. I thought it was just really cute. It feels like we are actually in a store and you open the door and you come in. I like that. Before we get started, I would like to ask everybody to mute their microphones. So far as I can see, everybody has. I am pleased today to be able to introduce Mary Tritsis with Allies for Community Business, or as we all know the organization, A4CB. We're very happy to have Mary here today. I hope that we have time at the end to have a discussion, hopefully answering questions that you have for Mary. And I will be monitoring the chat room. So if you have any questions while she's presenting, please give us a little shout out in the chat room so we have an idea what your questions are. And with that, I would like to turn this over to Mary. Mary, thanks for being here today.
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for having Allies for Community Business. Yes, our acronym is A4CB, and some of you may recall our former name was Acción. My name is Mary Tritsis, and I'm the Senior Director here at Allies for the Community Lending Team. I have been here since 2019. And a little bit of my background is that I'm actually a former banker. I ran the retail banking division for a couple of two regional banks, in fact, from the city of Chicago. And I am a Northsider and happy to be here today. Our home is the Hatchery, which we'll talk about that in just a little. But Allies for Community Business is a micro lender. Again, we've been doing this and proud since 1994. And our vision is that entrepreneurs from any background could really start and grow their business that's going to create this generational wealth that we call it, not only for their families, but also for their communities. And what do? Our mission is simple. We provide capital, which are the lending and the grants. We provide coaching, free business coaching to any small business entrepreneur in the states of Illinois and Indiana. And we provide the connections, such as we have today with Ute and all of you here, so that entrepreneurs can grow these great businesses to create their jobs and create wealth in their communities. A little bit about what we've done over the pandemic over the last 2 years. Our impact in 2020 and in 2021 was that we dispersed $520 million to entrepreneurs, and we did that in both loans and grants. We coached 19,000 businesses, and we funded 24,000 businesses. What we do is, as a micro lender, a CDFI micro lender, we offer loans as low as $500. So truly a very small micro lender, as we have many clients that are just looking to start their home-based business. And we go up to 100,000. And we provide that for our early stage businesses, which would be somebody who just has an idea or maybe just started their business up to 6 months to 2 years. An emerging state business, which will be over the 2 years, and an established state business, which will be over the 5 years. And we do all of that with fair pricing. We have also been grant administrators for many of the programs. Some of you may be familiar. In 2020, the state of Illinois was the business interruption grant, BIG. We were the administrators to that. And last year, we were administrators to the Back to Business grant through the state of Illinois. And so we have been partnering with many people to provide funding to small business owners and really put these dollars to good use for their communities. A little bit about what we do and how we do and lend. So as I had mentioned, we provide loans from 500 to 100,000. and our lending territory is strictly in the state of Illinois and Indiana. So any small business, as long as they are registered and operating in Illinois and Indiana, we are eligible and they are eligible for us to help them. We are grateful to be a little different than some of the other lenders, especially with our new credit policy. We no longer look at credit scores to determine the loan amount, and we no longer put liens on personal assets. And what that means is we no longer take collateral. We just do a UCC filing on the business assets, and we sometimes will take a second or a third position. And how we lend is instead we look at the overall behaviors of pulling someone's credit, and we want to just look to see how they've managed their credit just over the last 2 years. And then how much cash do they have available, just to make sure that they can make their monthly loan payment to us. We don't want our clients to get into a situation where they, can't afford to pay us. And so therefore we try to provide a fiduciary responsibility to make sure that they can afford. We approve loans as little as 24 hours for eligible borrowers. Our loan application takes 5 minutes. I've done it many times. It's very simple. And we're going to talk a little bit about a pre-approval process that we now have through our system. We have had an interest rate promotion of 3% for the last year that is actually going to end June 30th. And our closing costs are 3%. After June 30th, our interest rate is going to go up to 9%, which is slightly higher than a bank loan, however, much less than a credit card or even a predatory lender. And then the closing cost is going to be reduced down to 1%. Our standard term for our loans is 2 years, 24 months. If you are less than $2,500 of a loan, then the amortization will be 12 months. And if you are over $50,000, we can adjust to do slightly higher. When I'm done with this deck today, I'm going to show you a little bit about our website of how to apply, but the application link is the a4cb.org/loans. Back to the 3% interest rate. It is going to be available for any applicant as long as the application is received by June 30th. So you don't have to close by June 30th, but if you have any clients that you're interested in referring to Allies, these applications must be received by June 30th. And then, as I indicated, after July 1st, it's going to go slightly up. We are grateful here at Allies to have had this interest rate reduction. Due to the pandemic, we received a very large grant from one of our generous funders. And so therefore, we took those dollars and just distributed them right back to our lending clients. And so our loan client is paying the 3%, and the funding from the grant that we received is paying the 6% spread. And that's how we've been able to really help our small businesses during this pandemic and help businesses get back on their feet. I'm going to talk a little bit about loans up to $25,000. So we have a 3-step credit process. The step 1 credit process is the first thing that somebody's going to go through when they apply online. And as I had indicated, we only look at the last 2 years of someone's credit. We ask, has the client been in bankruptcy over the last 24 months? And if the answer is no, they go to the next question. And this is all run through our algorithm while the system is reviewing the credit bureau. And it looks to see, has there been any collections greater than 500? If the answer is no, then it goes to the next algorithm to say, has the client over the last 12 months been paying on time on all of their trade line items? And the trade line items are those that we consider active today. And then the last bullet point is, does the client have at least 25% available to borrow on just the revolving lines of credits? And those are really their credit cards. We want to make sure that if we're going to provide a loan offer, that the client is not maxed out on their credit cards. If the client meets all three of these bullet point 4 criterias, then within 30 seconds of applying, the client will receive a loan offer of 1.5 times the largest amount that they've borrowed and paid back over the last year. And we don't look at student loans. So let's just say someone's greatest amount borrowed over the last year is $10,000. We will give them a $15,000 loan offer. Let's just say they're a homeowner or they have a car loan. They can get up to $25,000 immediate pre-approved loan offer based on this step 1 criteria. Last year in 2021, we had a record-breaking year. We deployed cash through lending to more clients than we've ever before in our 30, and close to our 30 years. And this year we are doing the same. So we're trying to get as much borrowing dollars into the hands of small businesses, especially in the underserved. We focus a lot on the west and the south side of Chicago, but as I had indicated, we actually have a lending territory throughout the entire state. Let's just say a client doesn't meet the step 1 criteria. We are not going to say no. Our goal is to try to have every client get some kind of loan offer. So if you are not a step 1, you can provide either tax returns, bank statements, or your financial statements to try to get approved up to the loan amount that you're asking, up to $25,000. So if a client doesn't meet step 1 and a client doesn't meet step 2, what we're looking at is most likely a client that has had recent bankruptcies, or they are currently having more than 2 late pays, or they have excessive collections. What we call those clients are a credit builder. So all of our loans have a personal guarantee, and it is reported on their credit because we want to help clients rebuild their credit. So these are business loans, but they are also reported on their personal credit. And you can get a credit builder loan up to $2,500 by just providing 3 months of personal bank statements and business bank statements. And what this will do is this will really help a client repay us back within the 12 months because it is capped at $2,500. We want to help rebuild their credit. And if they start a relationship with us, we're hoping the next time around, they could probably get 1.5 times more than that credit builder, as long as they continuously try to start paying their debt on time and keeping no additional new collection items. We also offer loans from $25,000 up to $100,000. And for this, because we no longer are looking at collateral and taking collateral, we are not, we just as a nonprofit micro lender, no longer are asking for, becoming subordinate to someone's mortgage or their car title. We are asking our clients that they must meet both all step 1 criteria and all step 2 criteria. So a little different. When we were looking at loans between $500 to $25,000, you had to meet only one of the criteria. So it was either you could be a step 1, you could be a step 2, or you could be a step 3. But when we're looking at loans over $25,000, they must not have had bankruptcies over the last 24 months, no collections greater than 500, on time for all of their trade line items over the last year, have at least 25% available on the revolving debt, which are their credit cards. And then we have to look at 3 years of tax returns, 3 months of personal and bank statements, and then we would like a current profit and loss statement. And they must meet the coverage for the tax returns. We look at a 1.25 debt service coverage. For bank statements, we look at a 35% debt to income. And then for financial statements, it's both the debt service coverage and a debt to income. So we're a little bit more conservative when it comes to this because these are larger loan amounts. And again, there is no collateral that we are taking. So what are the loan options that a client can have at Allies? We offer both a term loan and a line of credit. The loan amounts for the two are exactly the same. The difference are the terms and conditions of the loan. If it is a term loan, it's amortized very similar to a car payment, where it's a fixed term and it begins at 12 months. If you're up to 2,500, and if you're over 2,500, it's a term loan for 12 months. I'm sorry, 24 months. If it is a line of credit, the line of credit is interest only for the first year. So you are paying currently 3% interest only on how much you have drawn from the line of credit. And then on month 13, it converts to an amortized loan for 2 years thereafter. So an example would be a client has a $10,000 line of credit, and at the end of month 12, the beginning of month 13, they only have drawn $8,000. We will then take that line of credit, we will amortize that $8,000 balance for another 2 years, and that's how we're able to help the client pay off their line of credit. Common uses are exactly the same, but most people choose a term loan over a line of credit for different reasons. So a term loan would be a startup business expense where they have a fixed cost and they know they will exactly want to pay it off over a certain period of time. If you're going to be purchasing a vehicle, we do a lot of trucking loans. We do a lot of vehicle purchases for other businesses. Those are usually the purposes of a term loan. A line of credit is more, I want to draw the money in, draw the money out, put the money back in. And so you'll use it for inventory where the expenses are at a varying scale. They'll use it for materials if they have a slow receivable payments. So we as a lender will work with our clients to be able to help them navigate to make sure they choose the right loan option for them. Our coaching, as I indicated, is all free to any small business. So you do not have to have a lending relationship with Allies to be able to have a free one-on-one coaching. And it could either be somebody who's thinking of starting a business, but they're not really sure what to do, to they're an established business and maybe they're thinking of selling. And so how are they going to think about their retirement and how are they going to think about selling or closing their business? That one-on-one coaching is available to anybody, as well as we also offer group coaching, which some classes are online. And we also have a cohort program, which the abbreviation is NEL, but it's the Neighborhood Entrepreneurship Lab program. And after somebody completes this cohort program, they are actually awarded a grant. It's a great cohort program. We encourage people to apply for this, and it runs twice a year. Our one-on-one coaching, as we here at Allies have segmented our businesses into the 3 stages. For early stage business, we talk about assessing them and getting them started. For an emerging business, it's how to improve their financial management or create some more operating rhythm. And then for established businesses is really participating in the collaborations or even attracting outside investors. And again, at the end of this deck, I will show you where clients can register for a free business coaching session. The business coaching team, there are a dedicated 4 people. And as I had indicated before, I think the numbers were 19,000 small businesses that were coached over the last 2 years. So how could allies help, let's just say, a startup business? Some of the things that we do here is that we help them create a business plan. We also help them put together some financial projections because it's important that they understand what their goals are today and where they need to be tomorrow. We help them establish a legal structure. We can also look for the things that we would recommend making sure every business has a business bank account. So one of the things that we always encourage is not to commingle your personal and your business funding. So establishing their business bank account is really important. The other importance is helping and registering for some kind of online bookkeeping system. And even though some of them are free, they are great to be able to make sure you are tracking all of your cost analysis, as well as the last thing that we really help startup businesses is analyzing their capital needs. And their capital needs are their lending needs. The first thing we always tell clients are, did you go to our grant page and did you see where the free money is at? Always go for the free money first. And if there are no grants available, then consider getting a loan at an organization that is not a predatory lender. What are some things that a small business can help them, what I call get to the next level, help them really build the trajectory of their business? Through our coaching program, the essential activities include updating your financial forecast. So when you start your business, you create a financial forecast, but things change. Have you updated your financial forecast so that you know what the history has been? And if that history is inaccurate, are you updating your data, your numbers to be able to meet the goals that you want? Really focus on creating a marketing plan and establishing an online presence. Especially with times of COVID, businesses were shut down. Those that were able to pivot and really think differently were the ones that were able to survive. We talk about KPIs and measuring your key performance indicators. And that's something that our coaching team do, as well as we really encourage proprietors to start writing an operations handbook. Some of the things that we also encourage are drafting job descriptions so that we can help our clients hire staff, which leads to our mission of creating more jobs and wealth in the communities. There are also automated payroll systems that either you could do some at a relatively low cost, and some of our clients also partner with their banks that have certain treasury management systems. And lastly, what's really important that we say, and which is what we are all doing today, is identifying, evaluating, and developing partnerships. There are so many free services and resources that small businesses don't realize that are out there. And this is extremely important to help keep your business operating in a great rhythm. In terms of who we are, so we are part owners of the hatchery. We own it with another nonprofit called ICNC. The hatchery is in East Garfield Park. And so if you know where the United Center is, we are directly west of the United Center. The hatchery is one of the largest food and beverage incubators in the country. It's 70,000 square feet. I talk about it because when I go there, I feel like I'm working at a Google-esque type of building. And the hatchery offers a wide variety of kitchen space for food and beverage entrepreneurs. We are also one of 8 City of Chicago business licensing centers. And so if you are in the city of Chicago and you're looking and need to register your business, we are one of 8 that can help you do that. And we also have a certification department through our coaching program where we help entrepreneurs secure women-owned business or minority-owned business certification to really help those contracts from institutional partners. In the hatchery, there are 54 private kitchens, and you can lease them by the year, by the month, by the week, by the day, by the hour. We also have a culinary program called Impact Culinary. And if some of you know Chef Rick Bayless, he has his culinary cohort program in the hatchery. We also partner with the Garfield Market Neighborhood Market. And so on the weekends in the summertime, we are there outside. In the winter and in the spring and the fall, we are mostly indoors. And again, our partner ICNC also provides job training and placement specifically for the food and beverage industry. As I indicated, we are one of 8 City of Chicago licensing centers. And we also have our procurement and that will help women-owned business and minority-owned business get certified. So to learn more about us, and I'm going to go through this in a little bit, I'm going to stop for questions, but everything is on our website. Our credit policy is very transparent. So our credit policy is on our website. To apply for a loan, it's on our website. But then what I'm really interested in doing is to also show you how you can refer somebody to Allies for Community Business if you feel that they have a need that is something that you cannot help them with. And again, to grow our partnership. Our goal is to stop the predatory lending. And we partner a lot with financial institutions, because what we want is a financial institution is not to tell their client no, but to say rather, you can come to Allies. So we are grateful for the many partnerships that we have. And at this time, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and open it up to questions before we go on to looking at our website.
Thank you, Mary. That was very informative. And I have a feeling for some of us that was really new information. I wanted to point out that looking at the attendees, we have over 30 people on this in this session. And Mary, just as a FYI for you, all people in the session are business advisors. So we're not really talking to the businesses self, but we just translate that into taking it to our clients. So one of the questions that came up very early in your presentation was, being an SBDC, being an advisor, sometimes clients, businesses come from us, we refer them to you. What is your wish list? What an advisor would prepare to bring you a client so that you can just go ahead and go through with the loan? What's your wish list for us as advisors?
Yeah, so that's a great question. You know, the reason why we want to be very transparent with our credit policy is because we don't want someone to get referred to Allies and then they get another decline. Most of our clients are coming from somewhere because they did not get an approval. You know, the first place somebody is going to go, and we welcome, they go to their financial institution. And if they can't get a loan from their financial institution, we go through this, what I'm going to call my deck and my presentation, not only to our banking partners, to our community partners such as yourself, so that you can understand what our credit policy is. So what I would say is we never want to discourage someone from applying, but we do want to have our partners maybe go through some of those basic questions. You know, have you been in bankruptcy over the last 2 years? Do you have the collections? Are you a startup business? You know, some of those questions that we went through is so that we can help navigate and give an idea of where we think the client may end up in terms of their loan amount. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed in any way, but we have conversations with our clients and our prospects every day, because most clients are usually asking for the 50,000 or 100,000. First thing to know is if you look at our credit policy, startup businesses are actually capped at 25,000. And the reason why they're capped at 25,000 is because when you are looking for over 25,000, you need to provide 3 years of tax returns and business bank statements that they don't have. So I think my wish list would be is just going on our website that I will show you in a minute, where all of our credit policy is there, and just kind of going through this with clients. Clients are very smart. They kind of have an idea, not what their credit score is, but what behaviors they have. So by going through some of these questions, I think that's what I would say would be my wish list, so that we can give realistic expectations to someone and not have them ever be disappointed.
Thank you. Any follow-up questions or comments? Please unmute yourself or write the question in the chat, whatever works for you. Really? No follow-up questions?
I have a question.
Here you go.
So I just have a question about the bankruptcy for someone who may have had bankruptcy in the past. Let's just say their bankruptcy is 3 years old. Would they qualify or not?
So even if you, so that's a great question. So, but let's make sure we're clear. Even if someone was just finished bankruptcy a month ago, they would still be able to apply for what we call the credit builder, which is the loan up to $2,500. So the bankruptcy is only an eligible criteria over $2,500. So if they've had bankruptcy 3 years, to answer your question, they could still become a step 1 client that could get up to 25,000 because that bankruptcy is more than 2 years old.
Got it. Thank you.
Hey, Mary. Great presentation. Let me see if I can turn my camera real quick.
Thank you.
Great presentation. My sister's name is Mary, so I love the name Mary. Very friendly. I just wanted to clarify, did I hear you correctly? You said startup businesses are eligible for up to $25,000?
Correct.
Wow.
Yep. Startup
Okay.
businesses are eligible up to 25,000 based on the credit policy.
Okay. They don't have to take any other courses, entrepreneur classes, or anything like that?
Nope.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good question.
This is Sarah. I just wanted to say for us, we have had, this is really fantastic information. We have a lot of startups right now in our community, and they have wonderful marketable plans, but maybe they're not bank ready necessarily, or the size and scope of it doesn't merit the traditional bank loan. So we will have several people sent your, I just wanted to say it's unbelievably helpful for our client base right now. So thank you for presenting.
Great. And I will say that almost every major bank that you know of that is in the city of, or the state of Illinois and Indiana, partners with us because of those very reasons. They don't want to lose their clients to another bank. And we don't want people to go online and get 50,000 in 5 minutes at a 60% APR. So we try to make sure that we put this in a fiduciary responsibility so that they can get the cash that they need at fair pricing. I'll throw out a couple of other information that I just realized isn't in my presentation. So we also offer ITIN lending, and ITIN clients have exactly the same credit criteria requirements, nothing more stringent than somebody with a social security number. And half of my lending team is actually bilingual in Spanish. And so all of our materials that we also have, we actually do this presentation in Spanish as well. And all of our materials that we have are also in both languages.
Anybody else? This is your chance.
Mary, my name is Yamisi. I'm with the DC in Carbondale, Illinois. And I heard you mention something about the credit builder, and maybe I missed that part of your presentation, but could you give a little bit of more information about that quickly?
Sure. So I think that kind of goes to Princess's question that she just asked. So if you have had bankruptcy over the last 2 years, or let's just say you haven't had on-time credit card payments over the last year, we do not want to say no. So what we will do is we will offer you and talk about the credit builder program, which is a loan up to $2,500. And because all of our loans have a personal guarantee, the bureaus, TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, it doesn't matter if you borrowed $5,000 or $50,000, or $2,500 in this case, as long as you are making on-time payments on these installment loans, that's going to build their credit. So we will work with clients and give them, I've had clients, especially at-home daycare centers, that are looking just for $1,000. They want to, they're opening back up, or they're selling something on Etsy, they just want something little, so that just enough to be able to get them through the next 6 months to a year. Those loans we call credit builders, because it's not only giving them the business needs and fulfilling their business needs, but also really building their personal credit. That's why we call it a credit builder.
I wondered about, like, for those startup businesses who don't have credit yet. They're new, they don't have anything, and so it's harder for them to get that. And so that's why, maybe they don't have any bankruptcies or anything, but they still don't have access to capital because they're brand new. And so that's what I was wondering, if that could benefit them. So
absolutely, that's a great point. Right, somebody who doesn't even have any credit would be eligible for a credit builder. That's a great point. Thank you. I'm going to add that, I think, in my presentation.
Thank you so much.
Anything else?
I think there were a couple of things in the chat. I am happy to share the deck. I will.
I can do that, Mary. Don't worry about it.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah. You're already spending your time with us here. I don't want you to do additional tasks, so let me do that for you.
I'm going to share my screen for a couple more minutes, if that's okay. And
Sure.
What I'm going to do is share with you our website, because I want you guys to see our credit policy, how it's very transparent. It's all out there. So you can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Great. This is the homepage to a4cb.org. If you want to connect with a coach and schedule a free business coaching session, you just go to the blue tab over here. If you want to apply for a loan, you go to the green, which is money, tab over here. Our website is in English and in Spanish. And if any of you want to make a referral to A4CB, if you scroll all the way down at the bottom, we have a link called Refer an Entrepreneur. Every time one of our partners, whether it's a community organization, an SBDC, a banking referral partner, wants to send us a referral, we ask that they complete this form. It takes just a couple of minutes, not even. It comes directly to me, and then I will send this over to one of my lenders. So we have a team of 10 of us on the lending team. The top part here would be your contact information, and you are not sharing anything other than contact information of your client. And the bottom part here would just be, this is your client's information. You send this, you submit it. It literally comes to me within a couple of minutes. And then again, I will share this on. Going back to our website, if I go to the top and I click on services, what I always tell clients is the first thing to do is go to our grant page. This is updated daily. Now, again, there hasn't been a new stimulus package, and so there are not a lot of grants that are out there. But if there are any grants, and most of them that we are partnering with are currently with the city of Chicago, clients can apply directly online. And if you go to services and loans, our credit policy that I was talking about is all right here. So if you have, somebody asked a great question, and Ute, could have been you know, what would be the wish list? If you have a client that you want to go through and say, now, what were those parameters again that Mary was talking about? It's all right here. So you have your step 1 that talks about up to 25,000. You have your step 2. So again, if somebody doesn't meet a step 1, a step 2, and then you have your step 3, which is a credit builder. If I scroll a little bit further down, this is how $25,000 to $100,000 are able to be eligible. And then this is really what I love telling people to look at, is to go to our FAQ section. The only 2 eligible type of industries that we don't lend to are those that are related to cannabis and adult entertainment. So, you know, it just talks about, you know, like who do I need a co-borrower? So any owner over 20% must sign for the loan. I mean, everything is here. You know, it's just a great resource to see. And then the last thing is there's if you just go again under services, the one-on-one coaching, the group coaching, the kitchen space, it talks about our clients, our partnerships. It's all right here at our website. So I just wanted to share that with you so you can understand how to refer to allies and how to really see what I had presented today to that.
So David asked to clarify one more thing. If a client who's just started the business and he had some late payments over 3 years ago, that would not affect his eligibility. Is that correct?
That is correct. Now they must be have been paid so if they were delinquent over 3 years ago, but they still owe an outstanding balance that is delinquent, they must have been paid, not so much paid off, but paid anything that is past due up to date.
Well, David, let us know that that answered your question. We have a comment here. Jeannie said that she sent a referral. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, and the client hasn't heard anything yet. I know we followed up. It's my center, so I know about the case. So we followed up to clarify what happened. But I can attest, we had another client who we referred to A4CB, and I didn't hear anything for 5 days. The client sent me a thank you note and said, I got the money. So when everything works right and the client is qualified, I know for a fact it happens really quickly that the loan hits the bank account. So,
so Jeannie, do we want to talk offline, or did we resolve that that outstanding follow-up? Great.
I'm not sure, she's not turning on her microphone. So she says,
okay, no problem.
Yes, a conversation offline would probably be good because the problem has not been resolved. So,
okay.
So David said, yes. All good. Any other questions? If not, I have one more question for you, Mary. So I'm always concerned about the clients that are looking for a microloan because they have been rejected. They went out on their own, went to the bank, and often do an online application. So no one body says, well, stop, your eligibility is not quite there. So they get rejected. So if we don't know about that, and sometimes we don't, sometimes they don't tell us everything, and they come to you, how high is the chance that they get rejected again? Or would you reach out if we refer them to you? Would you reach out to the advisor and say, "Hey, can we have a conversation about this case?"
So because of privacy reasons, we cannot really share what we find on the loan application. So we want to be mindful and respectful of that. We will, however, do a joint call with the client and the advisor, as long as the client, approves of that. So what I would say is, I would welcome your clients to do joint calls with myself or someone from my team, so that we can have a joint conversation, so that you could help your client, if they get a denial, the next time to get an approval. I will tell you, on our credit builder, we are over 90% of an approval rating, where they're getting some kind of loan offer. Because again, those are from 500 to 2,500, and you only need 3 months of personal and business bank statements. And the other criteria about bankruptcies and not being on time, and having delinquencies, we will put those aside. You just cannot have anything that is past due. So if you, let's just say, have a Target credit card and you are past due of $40, we're going to ask them to repay that $40, so that at least they don't owe anything that's totally past due.
That makes sense. Any other questions? Anybody? Because if we don't have any questions, I will not keep you artificially out of living your life and having another virtual cup of coffee. Mary, do you have anything you would like to add?
I don't. I just want to thank everybody for their time. You guys were a great audience. I hopefully have provided some alternative solutions to your clients. Again, we don't want anybody to say no. We want them to say, but Allies, and Allies is always here. Jeannie, I'm looking forward to hearing more about somebody on my team that didn't follow up, and nobody wants to get on Mary Tritsis's radar. So my apologies for that.
Oops.
Listen, these are good things to know. These are good things to know. So I appreciate everyone's time. And again, good luck and congratulations on your event here. And thank you again for including us, Ute. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely. And in the end, to everybody, we are in the end in the human business. So sometimes it's about communication and talking about issues and talking it through and finding solutions. Mary, thank you so much for having been here, spending valuable time with us and sharing your expertise. From the comments, I see that this was very well received and very helpful from here on to a lot of our startups, that's for sure.
Great. Thank you again, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Everybody, see you soon.